Hey there everyone, welcome to the UkeStuff channel and welcome to this full UkeGuide review of this instrument. This is the Islander MC-4, which is produced for Kanile'a. Now, what we're going to do in this video is three things. First of all, I'll go over some subjective categories, then I'll go over the specifications, then I'll summarize the instrument and give it a UkeGuide rating out of 5 possible ukuleles. If you want to support the work at this channel, there are 3 things you can do. You can like the video, you can subscribe to the channel, and you can always buy me a cup of coffee to say thank you for making this content at buymeacoffee.com/UkeStuff. Incidentally, I also have books of chord melodies, of carols, and of hymns available at my Buy Me a Coffee page. They're available in EPUB and PDF format. You can also buy the book on the Apple bookstore for your iPad, and then also on the Kindle store and in print from Amazon. So lots of options there if you're interested in chord melodies, carols, or hymns. Now, also, this full longer review, there's a 1-minute review that I do, which shortens it. Also, you can just find the UkeGuide, which is based off of the old energy guides that we use here in the United States with like an appliance. You can find that on my blog at UkeStuff.info as well. Just look for the UkeGuide and look up the Islander alphabetically in the list of instruments. Now, a little bit about this instrument or this family of instruments. There's a company called Kanile'a, which has been making ukuleles. It's more than 20 years at this point, and they are really seen as one of the leading companies in this space in the ukulele building world. They're very innovative. The family is working now on the next generation, is getting involved and bringing more innovation to it, and they're doing amazing things with their instruments. But many years ago now, the owner, Joe Souza, and his wife, they decided they wanted to bring in an import ukulele that shared Kanile'a's characteristics with a laminate body, and that's what the Islander series is. And now I believe that all distribution is actually not even on Hawaii anymore. It's actually on the mainland, and you can find these at places like Guitar Center, or you can order them from Guitar Center or its family, such as Musician's Friend, also Woodwind Brasswind, for example. You can also find them other places. But anyway, there was a series called Blue Collar Millionaires that talked about this instrument and why the Souza family decided to bring them in. And this is exceptional timing. This is January 2025 when I'm recording this video. And just recently, Kanile'a made big news. NAMM is actually happening right now as I record this video. Kanile'a made big news that they brought in a new polycarbonate ukulele, which is called Holo Holo. However, that instrument is basically the Rosen or the Donner. I mean, item for item, but it's being sold by Kanile'a. And for example, stores here in the mainland United States are selling it, such as Aloha City and the Uke Republic. And they have a list price of $115, whereas the Rosen had a price of $80 currently. It's been down to as low as $60, and Donner's was around the $60 to $80 range as well. Very competitive with the Nova. In the ukulele forums, and ironically, Ukulele Underground that Kanile'a supports, they own Ukulele Underground and they support that forum, they're being beat up a little bit right now for just rebranding an instrument that wasn't as good as the Nova and selling it. And the discussion kind of goes that Kanile'a wanted a less expensive instrument that was sort of more impervious that the tourists could buy, although it is being sold, again, here in the mainland US, and I'm sure it will be in other places as well. So Kanile'a is taking some flack for that. And I think part of the reason is because of this series of instruments, because Kanile'a didn't just say, yeah, ship us your standard C-shaped neck, whatever Martin headstock and whatever. No, they were very specific. We want the pin bridge, we want the Kanile'a headstock, we want the wide nut, and we want the thin neck, and they made it happen. So people are sort of like going, couldn't you have made that happen with a polycarbonate uke too? And I think even more than being upset about it, they're disappointed because they are imagining what a polycarbonate instrument could be with the Kanile'a touch. So maybe the wrong approach is to be angry about it and instead to ask Kanile'a to think about changing the Holo Holo line and investing in it to give it that Kanile'a feel as well. I don't know, but just throwing it out there that this is sort of the fact that I'm reviewing this at the same time. Now, this one also came from Goodwill, shopgoodwill.com. Occasionally I'll bid on auctions. And sometimes I bid on something without looking too closely, and this is a case of that. This one is damaged at a sound hole. You can see it there. And I did not realize that when I was bidding on it. It was really inexpensive. It still works as a complete instrument. It's not impacting its sound at all, but it is a blem on the front. It did not come from Islander or Kanile'a that way. Clearly the previous owner damaged it and then donated it. And I'll use it. I can keep it at my school and use it at my school and other places without having to worry too much about it. So again, we're gonna look at subjective categories, then we're going to look at specs, and then we're going to end with a summary and uke rating. So let's begin with the subjective categories. First of all is cost. These are $164.99, available at Guitar Center and their family of stores. Also anywhere else online, Kanile'a, I think, will sell them to you as well. Now in terms of value, it's not a good value. It's a great instrument, not a good value. $164.99 is high. Now, you do have to remember that you're supporting a company that does so many things in the ukulele world. Not only do they support Ukulele Underground, not only do they support all these artists, not only do they plant, forests in a tree, it just goes on and on. They are synonymous with the ukulele world. So you are supporting that company, and it does cost more to operate in Hawaii. So all in all, you can see where it's going, but it is more expensive than it should be for a laminate ukulele, even with the custom Kanile'a treatment here and even better upgraded tuners than you normally get. So again, the value, it's not really price meets value. The instrument is good enough that it's slightly above that, but it's not a great value. So just so you're aware. So let's talk about build quality. Build quality here overall is really good. It's put together well. I have no complaints about the build quality in any way. And to show you that, let's go on the inside, take a look at the inside, and you can see how they built it on the inside as well. Okay, let's take a look inside the Islander here, MC-4. We're going down to the lower bout first. You can see that there is a tail block down there. You can see the pins sticking through on the top up there. If I back up, I'd like to see if we can see a bridge plate or not. There is no bridge plate. If you take a look, there are beads tied there as well, which allow the strings to sort of distribute that force before they hit the pin. So there's a tip for people looking on how to use pin bridges and replace strings. Also today, again, Kanile'a does not make pins like this anymore. They just make solid pins without that groove. And usually they suggest to people to turn them the other way. So looking at the bottom there, it's really a clean build. You can see the quality of the laminate if I hold still. It's a really good quality laminate used in this instrument, and really nice, clean, standard build from their factory where they're importing these instruments. All right, let's take a look at the upper bout. Okay, here's the upper bout of the ukulele. It's a little hard to get back far enough, but there you can see the quality of the laminate, and you can really see when you're dealing with a lower quality laminate how low that quality laminate is. This is good laminate, and you can see, the notch kerfing that's used. There's the neck block right there. There's the serial number. If anyone wants to go look that up, I don't know if there's a way to do that. Usually not. And of course, you can see the horizontal bracing on the soundboard up above. And just, it's a nice, clean, traditional build. And that's our quick look at the Islander MC-4 by Kanile'a. So as you can see, nice clean build in there, no complaints. Where we're gonna have issues, I think, is appearance. Again, we're talking $164.99, which gets you to be a more dressy Kala or a Hana, right? Not a basic entry level like Makala level instrument. Well, here you have a very, very basic laminate. Now it's good laminate, as we saw on the inside. It's good laminate, very high quality laminate, but it's not super, super attractive. There's nothing blingy in this at all. The closest you get to bling is perhaps the pin bridge or the Kanile'a styled neck and headstock, but that's it. Otherwise, it's very, very plain. In terms of availability, you can buy one right now. Again, Guitar Center family of stores, or online direct, whatever you want to do. Now, where this instrument is going to really head out of the park is playability. That is its strongest asset by far, because it has the Kanile'a DNA. It has a 38 millimeter nut. It has a thinner neck profile. And as a result, it's set up pretty decently and it plays really well. So what you're really paying for that $164.99 is the Kanile'a DNA in a laminate. And the other manufacturers don't pull that off. For example, Kanile'a has its Koalana series and it hasn't yet figured out how to make its Koaloha feel on its Koalana. Well, the Islander plays like a Kanile'a. Doesn't sound like a Kanile'a. It's not a bad sound. We'll get to that next. But it gives you that playing experience, which is fantastic. The action might be a touch high at the nut, just a touch. And when I change strings, which I'm going to do eventually, maybe I'll just take a nut file and just a couple passes on each nut slot, and that will solve that issue completely. It does have a few sharp fret ends at this point, but I don't know where this instrument has been, even when it was built. So I don't know what conditions it has faced. I do know that it's the dead part of winter here in the Midwest United States, and we have low humidity right now, so that isn't helping either. The frets are not terrible, but I'll be able to take care of that very easily. Incidentally, if you're going to buy one of these, the two things I would check is make sure you don't have sharp fret ends, because you'll have to deal with it if you do. And the second is just check your action. If both of those are good, I think you're safe to go with this brand. All right, let's go for sound quality. The sound quality is really good. It's not the best. I think in terms of laminate, my vote for best sounding laminate is Kawaya. So it's close though. You get a well-balanced sound. There is sustain. There are some overtones. You do get a little bit of the feel, I think, of the lower bass absorbing of a laminate, but the sound overall is balanced and good. It's still ringing a little bit. So the volume is good. The tone just edge towards dark, but I think, again, different strings might change that as well. What I do in these reviews is I use the app Tonal Energy Tuner to show you what's happening with the harmonic energy as I play. So I'm going to play the C chord 3 times and let you see what I'm hearing. Here we go. Now, the sustain is actually longer than what I'm seeing, just so you know, but you can see it's really a well-balanced sound, particularly for a laminate. A lot of laminates just get caught on that low end, have very little sustain or very little high end. This one is really, really well balanced. So, it is a deeper concert, and it does, I think, have a little bit wider and bigger soundboard than many other instruments as well. It's a high quality laminate that's being used, so there's no complaints there, and it makes sense why all that would translate to a sound that is really pretty decent. All right, now that we've talked about the subjective categories, let's get into the specifications. It is a concert ukulele. Its scale length is just short of 15 inches at 14.8125 inches from nut to saddle. It has 18 frets with 14 to the body. It does include side position markers, and it is a double-bowed ukulele. It is a laminate mahogany, top, back, and sides, and it's a very good quality laminate, even if it is sort of a not very attractive laminate look on it. Very pale, a little stripy, but something could be done there, right? The fretboard, I believe, is made out of rosewood, as is the bridge, which is a pin bridge. It does not have a radius fretboard, just like most Kanile'as. The nut and saddle are new bone, which is also sort of an upgrade to just plastic. It does not have a compensated saddle, just straight across. It is a satin finish, not gloss. Its overall length is 23.875 inches from the top to the bottom, not counting the strap buttons, which I put on incidentally. And it weighs 1 pound, 1.1 ounces. It would be under that without the strap buttons. So it's pretty decently light, and it's pretty well balanced, as you can see. It has Grover geared tuners, which is an upgrade from a lot of brands at their entry-level price point. So, those are probably $15 or more tuners to put on. adding to the price, getting you better value for that $164.99. And then we talk about the action. Now, the action at the first fret is a little high. It's 0.65 millimeters at the first fret. I like to see that at about 0.5. So that is just a touch high. Not unplayable, not awful, but it could be a little better. Action is really good at the 12th fret. It's 2.60 millimeters at the 12th fret. That's about right on. 2.65, I think, is the standard goal, and really anywhere between 2.25 and really 2.75, 2.85 is the range that you want at the 12th fret, depending on your style of playing. So that's right there. So I'll probably bring down the nut a little bit again at a string change. The nut width is the big selling point here. It is 37.83 millimeters from, at the actual nut, and that is wider than most concerts that are out there. Most concerts are at 35. There are some exceptions here and there. For example, the Flight Travel Series is 36.6 millimeters, things like that. As a result, the string spacing is also wider than usual at the first fret. It's 9.29 millimeters between each string, leading to 30.87 millimeters from G to A, almost 31 millimeters. That's pretty wide string spacing. So if you're a person that feels cramped on a standard concert, well, try a Kanile'a Islander. You might like it. And then finally, I also check the depth of the neck at the third fret. So I go from the top of the strings to the bottom of the neck, and this one is at 19.85 millimeters from the top to the bottom. So the shape is very more like a very stretched out D rather than a C shape. So it's not like holding part of a baseball bat, it's holding an instrument that feels good to play. And that is Kanile'a's, I think that's their claim to fame here. Now, there's a really good question to ask, which is if Kanile'a could make it happen, why couldn't the entire industry make some kind of change as well? It needs to happen. The two things that need to happen is we need to get a neck more like this on all instruments, and then make sure that we have side position markers on all of our instruments as well. This is 2025. It's far too late for this change to occur. All right, now that we've talked about subjective categories and specifications, let's get into the summary of the instrument and a UkeGuide rating. So in summary, this instrument is the result of wanting to bring Kanile'a DNA to a laminate for people to buy, make it much more affordable, and they really did hit their mark. I'm pleased with this instrument. Personally, I saw the Islanders on display at the LA Ukulele Festival a number of years ago when I first started playing. I did a crazy thing, which I've done a couple times, which is I flew out to LA super cheap at the time, went to the LA Ukulele Festival and flew back the same day. Didn't have to buy a hotel, didn't have to take days off of school to go, could do it on one day. Early on Saturday, late night on Saturday night, spent the whole day doing that. And Islander was there at the LA Ukulele Festival. I didn't know enough then to know what I was playing because I picked them all up. I play everything that I can, and it was a good laminate, but I didn't feel like at the time that there was anything special about it over a Kala or an Ohana or whatever that was on display there. And those were the two others that were really there. Well, now, several years of playing in, I realize that what the Islander offers is that Kanile'a playing experience, and it is a better experience. When you're just picking up and you're new to ukulele, you might not know anything about it. But for me, now I know. Now I know what I didn't know then. Now, here's where you get into it. Is it worth the $164.99? The answer is yes, I think it is. But is it a good value? Not really. You don't get a bag, you don't get any accessories, you get the instrument. You do get some upgrades like the tuners, the headstock, the 38mm nut, and the pin bridge. By the way, pin bridges can be problematic for people as well. A couple tricks here. First of all, I think this one is old enough that it has the old pins that Kanile'a used. Kanile'a now has pins without a groove in them, so that you don't have to worry about whatever. But on an ukulele, it's often better to insert the pin with the groove away from the string rather than facing the string. If you're a guitar player, that doesn't seem right, but trust me, it's right to hold your string in. So if you have pins like these, turn them the other way. Make sure you've got a good knot at the bottom, or tie a bead onto the bottom of your string with a couple of knots and use the bead to help hold underneath too. Either one works, but that will help you with a pin bridge. Then the biggest trick sometimes is popping the pins out, but there's actually tools that will help you with that too. Some of the string winders actually have a pin bridge puller on it too. So long story short is that's an upgrade too on a very basic plain ukulele. I think it is worth the $164.99. I think if you get a person playing on this as a first instrument, they are set for a long, long time with a good playing experience, although they will be tempted by, dare I say, better looking instruments. Now, again, the laminate here is top notch. The instrument is well made. It's cleanly built. It sounds good, but it just visually is kind of plain. And players will, I think, be tempted to go there. Now, what's the natural answer then, though, for Kanile'a? Is if you like your Islander, wouldn't you really love to play a full-blooded Kanile'a made out of koa? And the answer there is, of course, because then you're also getting the looks and everything else of the koa. So I guess it makes sense. It all pushes you towards a Kanile'a eventually. And then, of course, the big question is, can we convince Kanile'a to put this neck, this headstock on the polycarbonate ukulele? That would be pretty cool. So what rating does this get? It's not going to be a 5. Now, it could be. If this were 125, I think you could make the case, like 125 in terms of price, $125. I think this will be a 5. At $164.99, I have to dock it just a little bit. Now, again, I do realize what Kanile'a brings back to the ukulele community. Totally aware of that. I realize that you're supporting their efforts with that price, and you're also supporting the people that are selling the instrument if it's not directly from Kanile'a. I get all that. But for what you're getting in terms of an instrument build, there are better buys that also include more accessories and things. At the very least today, a bag at $164.99, a decent gig bag. Doesn't have to be super protected, but 5 to 10 millimeters of padding, handles that are padded, a hanging thing would be probably fair for $164.99 ukulele. So 4.5 out of 5 ukuleles. And that's our look at the Islander MC-4 imported by Kanile'a. Thanks so much for joining me for this video. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll be back soon with some more Uke stuff for you.